with the Most High. Let us take out this time to just worship Him in spirit and in truth, to lay down all those heavy burdens that we may have carried throughout the week, and just offer up a sacrifice of praise to the Most High, because He is worthy to be praised. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Like when you are in deep something. Yeah, one time I didn't want to. I was so tired and such I actually
I know one time too, it happened. I was in a little place.
That's why it's really good.
my parents, they used to like have like baths, like basically.
And there's a while just like sleeping in her own bed.
Yeah.
Now she's
And I used to help and doctor. I hated it, how uncomfortable, but she until he doesn't like put like and like when I go out at night, so like in the morning like my might not get so bad. You just got it.
Oh, you got them both in there.
Yeah, that really got everybody's attention.
Yeah.
You'll still get you the five.
Big crack.
Yeah, nothing crazy.
It's just like
Unless it's
just like being blind.
yeah, that's what we say.
Y'all right. How's Shannon? Can I get you something else?
I know we stopped.
Oh, Carlos here. Carlos. We already voted.
Oh, yeah, we do. You ain't saying.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Shabbat shalom, Mr. God.
Shabbat shalom.
Hey, before I get started today, thank you all for being attentive. Before I even get started, the title of this lesson is called Back to Basics. For me, I was telling my servant Moray here, humble servant,
Y'all heard it, right?
a couple of years ago, when I first joined this Mishpachah, I had this was on my heart. It also was one of the first questions that got me back into, well, I wouldn't say back into, just got me started on my path to becoming a Christian and a man of faith, and then as my walk progressed, into the truth. But and the title of the first one was pretty much the same as this, as the Ten Commandments. Are you doing what you want to do, or what Adonai wants you to do? Okay. And this is just going to be basics, because I feel as though in today's society, we've pretty much blown the basics out of the water. We don't even pay attention to the basics of what He wants for us in our life, and what He wants us to follow and do. So that was on my heart. So that's what I'm going to go with. Just to let you know, this is going to be a two-part lesson for me. I'm going to give you the first 4 of the commandments. We're going to discuss those, and then we're going to try to get through all that, and then it's going to be another 2 weeks because we have another brother coming up to give a lesson. Okay. All right. And of course, we'll start out with what we know. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
We are learning to walk through obedience to the Torah together, building an Ahava and Amba from the Ab to the Elav in Ruach Yeshua ben Yahuwah.
Okay, I got a couple of questions. Were the 10 Commandments that Moses brought down on the tablets the first time that y'all's laws were heard of? And or were these commandments known to the people long before Moses' time? Anybody? They've been around for a while, right? Okay. And we turn to Genesis 26, 4 through 5. You want to read that for me, please, Maury?
You already got it up. That's all of it? That's all of it?
That's just 4 through 5.
Yes, sir. All right, so we have, I will multiply your offspring as the stars of heaven, and I will give to your offspring all these lands, and in your offspring, all the nations of the earth shall be blessed. Because Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws.
And we had a little discussion up there earlier, during our Avenue time. Can anybody tell me, what are the differences in between these? Say like the commandments. What are commandments? Anybody?
Orders that are given.
I'm sorry?
Orders that are given.
Orders that are given. Anybody disagree?
Say that, man.
Man.
So, that means you know better, huh?
Yeah, you know. What are statutes? What are statutes?
Statutes are.
No, go ahead, speak up.
I'm listening.
So the way that I learned it is like things that come with the commandments. So it's like if it's a statute, it means like, for instance, when we say like the Pesach, like we say we're gonna keep the Pesach, then we say that this is gonna be a statute forever. Like that's something that's like, it's still part of the commandments, but it's something that you're gonna see outside of the tent.
Okay.
Like you'll see it, I hope that makes sense. That's-
No, it's very, yeah.
Could it
Yes.
also be like what he gave for the Levitical priests, like a statute to what you wear, or is that like something that goes in the law?
Okay, all right. So what we had looked up is dealing with kind of what already Leah said. It's like there's a time essence put to a commandment. It's like a commandment. It's like an instruction, just like anything else, like an order. But there's a time part of it. So yes, it's like Pesach. It's like a statute would be Sukkot. A statute. Those are statutes. You know.
The statute of limitations.
Statute of limitations.
There's
Exactly.
no statute of limitation on murder,
Yeah.
right? Like if you, that's
Yes.
like the example.
So far from what
So,
we
I'm gonna bring up the Hebrew word. Or y'all gonna do it?
No, no.
That was my basic. Yes, go for it.
It's hookah.
Not the smoking type.
Nah, yeah.
Or the shoes.
Get it out.
Or the shoes.
Yeah. It's strong 2708. And it says statute, ordinance, limit, enactment, something prescribed, the statute. And then in the translation of Strong's, it says custom as well, appointed, manners, rights. Right? Yeah, that's what it is.
Just like we did when we said appointed time.
That's right.
Right.
Yeah.
Appointed, yeah.
And the last one being laws.
But I know what that means. Oh, in Hebrew.
The set of rules you gotta live by.
Set of rules to live by.
Laura.
I.e. what? Oh, this
My
game
bad,
change.
my bad.
I was gonna say I.e. like what? Torah. Yeah, okay.
So it's H8451
And this is for laws, right?
for laws, Torah, law, direction, instruction, body of prophetic teaching, instruction in messianic age, body of priestly direction or instruction, of legal directives, law of the burnt offering, of special law, codes of law, custom matters, Mosaic law.
Before we get there, right? What about commandments? What do you have for commandments?
I'm sorry. Yeah, we talked about it.
Since you highlighted it.
So commandments, it's H4687, and it's mitzvah.
Yeah, go on.
It's a mitzvah thing.
Mm-hmm.
Commandment of men, the commandment of God, commandment of code of wisdom.
Yeah, I heard a Hebrew, I guess you would say scholar. Nah, I'm sorry. Whatever, I'm not going to name him because I feel like I know what's up there. He said that this is where it seems like it's also prescribed as well. Commandments are given to certain people at certain, not necessarily times, but just certain people.
Yeah.
There's commandments that might be just for women. Or laws that might be just wins. They gonna be
Yeah.
us.
Right.
Or just for priests,
Yeah,
like
like
Sean
brought
was
up,
saying.
yes.
So like, the way that I would see it, if I had to break it and say like, if we look at today's world, I would say like a doctor's prescription, right? So like when the doctor says, take this many pills for this long, or until they finish. So the Most High typically will say, do this forever,
Yes.
or do this when
Yes.
this happens. You know, he gives you like a time and everything to go with it, a prescription to go with what he's telling you to do.
Right. That's good. That's really good. So then now we got
All
law, right?
generations.
All generations.
Right. Yeah, we got them all there. Second question, why were the Ten Commandments written down for us? Carmen?
I think they're written down for us to have something to follow, have a lifestyle to follow, the lifestyle we want us to have. And so that there can be order.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer. Everybody else? Yes?
I think they're written in stone, so they cannot be changed or altered.
Yep. That's right. What you got there, Steve?
Just like every other thing we got going on, like there's 613 laws, but there's like there's 100 million people here, but they're set apart, right? So these are set apart laws of the Most High.
Okay. All right. Well, there we go. Y'all was not giving Moshe a brand new law on Mount Sinai. This is what I came up with. He was merely giving us a codified or formal version. I had written down, because before then I couldn't find it where these laws had been written down before. Oh, let me put this out. Because there has been discussions of this not being the first time. Am I correct?
Quite possibly.
Quite possibly, but that's for another discussion, okay? I wanted to keep this, you all know me, I'm KISS, keep it simple, stupid. I want to give it basic, just to give us a basic understanding of these commandments, okay? But yeah, that's another discussion that I think our humble servant Morey will go into.
Hey,
He gave us a codified, formal version of his law so it could be used to govern the emerging nation of Israel. But I put on there first and foremost because he loves us. I think that's why he gave it to us. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and begin with our first. Oh, I keep pointing at the TV. Okay. Okay. Can you go ahead and read the first one for me, please?
You shall have no other else before me.
And we see the same thing in Devarim 5 and 7. It says the same thing. You shall have no other else before me. Why do you suppose he gave this commandment first? If someone was thinking about it. I mean, out of all those 10 commandments that he gave us, why did he put that one first? Yes.
Since the Israelites at the time came right out of like Egypt, where they have all these other false Elohim, they might have been like they might have partaken in like a lot of the worship of them also. I mean, being in a culture where that's like, I assume, maybe a big deal. So I guess I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good.
So, with the Most High giving that as the first one, that kind of that might automatically make it clear that of all things, well, first of all, I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought.
you hit them.
Yeah.
So, basically, like,
Let me help you out.
Well, maybe Matt can help. Matt had his hand up. You gonna help her out?
Because I was thinking because he created the earth and, he wanted the people to praise only him for his hard work.
Okay.
I mean, if you read verse 2, that's what she's saying. Verse 2, Shemot 20, but verse 2.
Verse 2.
That's exactly
What
what
does it say?
she's saying.
What
I
does it say?
am Yahuwah, your Elohim, which have brought thee out of the land of Mitzrayim, out of the house of bondage. So that's exactly what she's
what you
saying.
just
That's the answer.
I guess that was a part of it. Like I said, I lost my train of thought.
Yeah. So the first part.
And he also had who with he didn't. It wasn't just those Hebrews. Who they have with them? They had.
Oh,
They had other nations.
So what's the word? Sojourners or whatever.
Yes.
So he wanted to put out this, say, hey, you know what? First and foremost, this is the way I looked at it. First and foremost, I am the one. There was no other guy that brought you out but me. So remember that first and foremost, I am the one. That's the way I looked at it. Just in case you thought, yes.
And the Egyptians figured that out too.
Yes, they did. Yes, they did. In a bad way.
Yeah. A whole bad way.
Yeah. Okay, when we go, someone's gonna have to help me. What was that? What's that number and letter? First?
Aleph.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. I'm having you cough and have you do it.
No,
And which one's the next one?
What?
I keep going to the. There we go. Okay, in the bed. Please, can you read us one?
Yes. Exodus 20. You shall not make for yourself a carved image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them or serve them, for I, Yahuwah, your Elohim, am a just El, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children to the third and the fourth generation of those who hate me, but showing steadfast love to thousands of those who love me and keep my commandments.
Now you all have noticed that I put the complete commandment in there, because I think too often most people only find the first couple of words in verse 4.
Yeah.
But do we see how important it is to read that whole one commandment?
Yes.
And then I put down here lower and smaller letters. Can anyone give us examples of this in our society today, of what's going on today? Ori?
Yeah, we got. I don't know, pick one. Like they
No,
took,
I'm asking you to pick one.
oh no. Well, like an example is pride. Like, well, we all know pride.
I'm sorry. You hit me as soon as
Pride becomes before a fall, and they just happen to want to turn my birth month into a month where it promotes basically what is it?
An abomination.
An abomination, yeah. It is basically it goes against the very first commandment given to Adam and Eve this month, that you shall go forth and multiply. And they're celebrating that, yes, we're ending our generations. Like they're celebrating those that choose to end their family's generations. Like that's crazy.
Children, that's the crazy part.
Yeah.
So as far as, let me see. What do we see? Go ahead, Shafir.
You got the cross.
Okay.
You can go all the way back to Rachel and Leah. They stole that idol from their father. And they hid it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So in modern day, you have that, the little upside down hand thing, like the Buddha, Krishna, Shiva.
Yeah. I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got those gods. You have also, and I associate with this when I look at this, because I've seen a lot of people run around with the little. I used to have one on the back of my truck. I had a Big John's, and I had my little fish on the back. Little dove, the heavens, fish underneath the sea. That's the way I looked at it. Yes.
You know, I actually went to Catholic University when I got my degree, and this verse right here, this law is actually not even in.
Twisted.
It's not even in the Catholic.
Yes.
Every time I talk to them, they never, when I read this out, they're like,
There's gonna be another one. There's another commandment that we're gonna cover too.
To take this, but to take the place of this, so that you still have your 10 laws, they doubled it.
Yes.
They want their Jesus, they want their painting of Cesare Borgia there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
Can I ask a question?
yes, go ahead.
It says you shall not make for yourself any carving images. Is that like Jeremiah 10, like somewhere around there, it talks about when they cut the tree and they get it and they carve it and they decorate it and when they like worship it.
Yes.
Yes.
And you gotta put it, stand it, because it can't stay
Would
on.
it be the same to say that
That is
Christmas,
yes.
Easter, you know, all those holidays are like worshiping
Would it be
carbon images, or not carbon images, but worshiping,
Another God?
yeah.
Yes.
Other gods, yes.
So these would fall under that.
All those other celebrations come from, you know, where they're,
The Greek gods.
yes, Greek gods and what they worshipped and how
So
they
when
brought about.
somebody comes to us and
Star.
says, oh, Christmas is, you know.
Keep
we
Christ
can
in
celebrate-
Christmas.
We can celebrate Christmas because we're celebrating, you know, Christ or whatever, we can say this verse along with other ones that support it, right? Because it would fall under this.
I read it out loud.
Right. And I also look at this as something we keep in our wallets and our purses. Well, not so much anymore. Right. That can also be something somebody worships and only goes after. And that can become their God, their little L. You know?
Yourself.
Yes, idolizing,
You worship yourself.
narcissism.
Yeah, if you worship,
Yes.
that's actually like the biggest thing in the satanic temple.
Oh, yeah.
The reason why
Self-worship.
they do the whole thing, they say a birthday with the whole cake and candle and wishing type stuff is like one thing that they really like because that's like the highest holiday to them because you're worshiping yourself. So when you see somebody who has a whole birthday month, for instance, they're like, it's my birthday month, and then they do like a whole month talking about their birthday and themselves. This is a worship of yourself because you are just concerned about you. And so that's why the Most High is saying, because even us fall in that category. Man was made by the Most High.
Right.
So even you fall,
Exactly.
ourselves, flesh falls into that category.
And this little thing here has made people worship themselves more than anything else in history, probably. You have people who cannot stay away from, and they have the little filters that make them look good now and everything else to worship themselves.
You
I
don't
mean,
even recognize them.
exactly. So, yeah. So there's many ways that, you know, that just make it worse. Oh, yes, what you got there?
I was gonna say because
Excuse me.
like about the Christmas, I got this from a Little Isaac video, and it was saying that, well, the guy that celebrated Christmas said, why can't we just have one day to celebrate Jesus? And then Little Isaac said, why only celebrate him for one day when you're supposed to be celebrating like him every day?
Okay, yeah. Okay. Something else that hit me too. But showing steadfast love to, he didn't say millions. He didn't say billions. So that tells you right there, you know.
Of those who love me and keep my commandments.
So we're not looking at a lot of people, because a lot of people are gonna turn
There's
away.
only 1,000 of those.
They-
Those.
Yeah, only a few thousand.
Yeah. I gotta get better on the animation. Oh, okay. What we got? This is the what commandment?
Oh, this is the Gimel,
The Gimel,
the third.
the third. Okay. All right. Can you read this for me, Carlos? Shemot 20. Ooh, I got this messed up. That's Shemot 20 and 7. Wrong title up there.
Like I said, we're gonna let you pass.
Okay.
You'll
These will get better.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead.
You shall not take the name of the Yahuwah your Elohim in vain, for Yahuwah will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain.
That's scary.
Yeah. What does taking his name in vain look like? Anybody? Oh,
Oh,
go ahead.
just saying it to say it, like when you're mad.
Say what to say what?
Oh, saying his name, just to calling it out, like when you're mad or you're mad at someone or you just did something on accident and you're just saying his name. Taking
Go ahead, hang on. You,
Oh, me?
work it out. I'm sorry.
From what I understand, I think it was my sister told me this, that it's like basically, how do you say it? I don't know how to say it. You basically say that you're in the walk and you worship him, but you also doing other things. Does that make, or doing the
That makes
opposite of
sense.
what, you know what I mean?
Yes.
That makes sense.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. That does. Anybody else?
You're saying, I mean, let's go ahead and expound on what it's like saying, hey, I love Most High instead of whatever, but I'm in the club.
Right.
Yeah.
Follow his commandments.
I thought you said you was
right,
or whatever,
Or
Christian
you
believer,
can
whatever.
choose. How about
I
people
love
choosing
God.
the commandments
You love
you
God.
want to follow?
Right.
So
it's not just using his name, but also
Like what?
what it says.
right. But your actions can also be showing that you're taking his name in vain because you're going against what he said. Does everybody kind of agree with that? Yeah. Oh, what you got?
It's kind of like saying, well, I guess kind of what Kyle was going off.
I can't hear you. Speak
Oh, it's kind of what Kyle was saying. Except I would say like pretty much you're saying, oh, I love God and I believe him, I go to church every single day and stuff. But meanwhile, look at your kids. What are they doing? If they're acting good, then that means that yeah, you're doing good. You believe in God. But if they're over here doing whatever they want, they're not listening to you. They're not doing anything righteous. That reflects on your actions, and that shows that, hey, you're not taking care of your kids.
You need to tighten up your shot.
Goodness gracious, I mean, come on. What you saying is you see mama or daddy acting, because children know y'all. I hope y'all know that, right? Just like y'all know y'all parents and y'all knew how they were, children know us too.
Yep.
Better believe that. That's gonna be a thing. They're rating y'all according to what you say that you believe.
Right.
That's just how they do. That's how y'all do. I mean, it is what it is.
So they saw me giving this class, giving this lesson right here, and all of a sudden, daddy don't show up till 3 o'clock in the morning the next day.
Yeah.
Smelling alcohol.
You know, because of the storm.
Yeah, because of the smallest thing. Exactly.
So we're talking about this during Ima and Ab's time, actually. We talked about, because we kind of talked about the lesson from last week about the duty of women, and then we talked about like we are supposed to teach the Torah to the children.
Right.
But the children might think that you are a hypocrite because you're saying things, but you're not. Your walk or what you're doing doesn't follow because the children know you really well, and so it's like, oh, okay, they say that. Or daddy, my mom said that, but they're not really, so they can take your words in vain actually, because they just don't believe what you're saying.
And I want to clean that up too. From last week, I wanted to clean it up when you asked the question. Is that I got you dealing with if you talking about when I kept saying, hey, there should be another leg to this. And you say, hey, I want to make sure we're not saying that women and children are like the same. And I did say it for whatever reason, I don't know why, but I wanted to say that no, it's just that when we were looking into the women's study, you would see the importance of how it is that that role, how important that role is to deal with them. And so therefore, if they're acting out of character, it's going to be, I mean, it's on both of us, obviously, but, it's going to be on, because that scripture says the Torah of your mother. You know what I'm saying? It says the Torah of your mother, so, yeah. Been cleaning it up last week. Thank you.
This is a question I had. Would you consider, and I think we touched on it, just by what you said. Would you consider some of today's televangelists taking the name of Yah in vain? And actually, yes. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I said I was going to get to you. Go ahead. Before I moved on to that. Go ahead.
Went to the Strong's 87723. It says Shaw. It's saying, in a sense of desolation, evil, destructive, literally ruined, morally, especially guile, figuratively, idolatry, false, deceptive, uselessness, right? So basically, making his name useless.
Right.
Yes, that's like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Because if you look at it, when we get to this question right here, this is why I brought this question. It hit me because I think of some of our televangelists running around on stage, running all over money, and you know, requesting, you know, jets and planes and, you know, things like that. Like, is this really what, you know what I'm saying? Or we take, you know.
But we know that it's a business. Let's be
Right.
honest.
That's, yes.
The affair of the Most High or of God is definitely a business. Like, it's money. It takes money to do the things of God or whatever. And so people just give.
Yep.
And you get them and they tell them you will be blessed if you do this, or you will be blessed if you give the money. Things like that. One time we watched a video about, I remember those pastors that were on TV, because now they have like TV shows about pastors.
Oh yeah. Oh
And their family are messed up anyway. And the dude was like, he had a tree, he compared the garden. Right, so I love to help me out to make sure that I tell the story right, but he compared the garden with tithe. And he was saying that pretty much like if you don't tithe, you cannot go back to the garden. Like that was like just the most horrible thing we heard. It was like, what did he do? Yeah.
Yeah. And they get people just hook, line, and sinker, get snagged, just hooked, you know, because they don't want to read for themselves, you know. Yes. Did you have something? Okay.
Oh, I'll say something to that.
Yeah, go ahead.
Isn't it interesting? Let's make sure. Isn't it interesting that when it comes to a commandment, and I'm not trying to. It's not about Christians. It's about the doctrine of Christianity.
Right.
That one still stands.
Yeah, that's.
The time. Yes.
I was thinking, you talking about Tehilliym, we talking about walking on money, we talking about the commandments. I was like, there it is. Right? This is what you're bringing up. I'm just, you know what I'm saying? I'm just playing off what you got.
What you got back over there? What you got over there?
No, I'm just picking it up. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy because it's like the law is done away with until it's time to tithe. Start bringing the law.
Malachi over into.
Do y'all want to watch it? I mean, if it's okay. Number 14, because it's really a short read. You know what I'm saying? It's really a short read. Pull up.
You say again, for those at home, Deuteronomy.
Yeah, Deuteronomy 14.
Okay. You got it, Jordan?
Starting out with verse.
Oh, you got it?
What chapter again?
14.
Yeah.
22, I want to say.
Okay, yes, I thought you started.
22. Yeah, Deuteronomy 14, verse 22. Yeah, because that's really going to deal with what we eat. That's dietary law.
Okay.
Yeah, dietary law.
Okay.
This is Deuteronomy 14, verse 22, and it says, Thou shalt truly tithe all the increase of thy seed, that the field bringeth forth year by year. And thou shalt eat before the Lord thy God in the place which he shall choose to place his name there, the tithe of thy corn, of thy wine, and of thy oil, and of the firstlings of thy herd, and of thy flocks, that thou mayest learn to fear the Lord thy God always.
Now hold on, stop right there for a second, please. Now this is when they normally say, oh, it was just, and I've seen people do this, you know, say, oh, that's only because there wasn't no money back then. There wasn't no money back then. That's what they say.
Somebody, one young man had to use money to go buy.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta continue reading. You gotta find out the story. Yeah.
And if the way be too long for thee, so that the art not able to carry it, or if the place be too far from thee, which the Lord thy God shall choose to set his name there, when the Lord thy God hath blessed thee, then shalt thou turn it into money, and bring up the money in thine hand, and shalt go unto the place which the Lord thy God shall choose. And thou shalt bestow that money
For whatsoever thy soul lusteth after, for oxen, or for sheep, or for wine, or for strong drink, or for whatsoever thy soul desireth, and thou shalt eat therefore before the Lord thy God, and thou shalt rejoice thou and thine household. And the Levite that is within thy gates, thou shalt not forsake him, for he hath no part nor inheritance with thee. At the end of 3 years thou shalt bring forth all the tithe of thine increase the same year, and shalt lay it up within thy gates. And the Levite, because he hath no part nor inheritance with thee, and the stranger, and the fatherless, and the widow, which are within thy gates, shall come and shall eat and be satisfied, that the Lord thy God may bless thee in all the work of thy hand which thou doest.
Thank you. Yeah. So yeah, televangelists. You don't even have to be televangelists. Yeah. Okay. Exactly. Thank you.
I know.
That's in the Dalit.
The Dalit, and that is commandment 4. All right. Can I get who's close enough? Johnny, get you to read that, please.
Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath to the Yahuwah your Elohim. On it you shall not do any work, you or your son or your daughter, your male servant or your female servant, or your livestock, or the sojourner who is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Yahuwah blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy.
Is this one pretty straightforward? What's so hard about it? This is one of those ones that my mentioned that the Catholics have changed to not be like that. If I'm not mistaken, it was the Edict of Milan that the Church of Rome, or Roman Catholic Church, wrote that said the venerable day shall be Sunday, day of solace. So man changed.
They better change before commandment that.
Yes, man changed the day, because we see the seventh day here. 325, 326, somewhere right around there, they wrote that edict. And the only ones, the farmers, the ones that worked out in the fields, would not have to, weren't required to go to worship on the day of the sun. So day of solace. That's, Sunday and that. But yeah, so it was man that changed this with that edict. We see what he wrote. So we see who followed behind the Church of Rome, or Roman Catholic Church. Who followed?
After them.
Yeah. Who followed in their path? Or let's say were fed to and during the gladiator pits, they were fed to the lions. If they did not follow, was it Christians?
Oh, that follow after them.
Right.
Yeah, because they're a daughter of the.
No, Christianity came before. Remember, we broke off.
Yeah.
After that, but you had the Christians first, right? Right, and the Christians fall under. But yeah.
And so they are so, like their agenda is so strong, right? Because we know that the Catholic headquarters is in Italy, right? We know it's in Rome. But guess what? The calendar in Europe, the seventh day, it's Sunday.
Yeah, a lot of like I've heard in America say, oh, the calendar's the 7 days, and I'm like, y'all haven't really. Don't say world anything until you actually buy everything.
The first day is Monday.
Yes.
And the last day is Sunday. So because they wanted to make sure, because they say, oh, we worship on the seventh day. That's the Shabbat. That's the seventh day.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm just saying.
This is history that anybody can go and look up, So yeah, but yes.
Also too, even though they say that, as you can see, it's not a set apart day still. So you go to church, but then you're shopping, you're working, you're going out to eat. You're doing what the stores are all open. Like you're doing all of the things that you're not supposed to do.
Well, we used to not do that on Sundays, because Texas had laws.
Well, see, that was the thing. Texas used to have a law that you couldn't buy liquor on Sundays, and I remember me growing up in church. Like we would go like sometimes like after Sunday school and go get something to eat. Yeah, we would go to Louis cafeteria or whatever. We would go to different places. But I do remember specifically my mom saying like certain stuff that we couldn't do. So like she'd be like, nah, we're not watching that today. Like you try. It's like they try to give you some sense of that this is a day that you don't do.
It's still a special day.
Right, it's still a special day, but you kind of make it work for however you want it to work. You know, if you're hungry, then you're gonna go to Louis.
I heard you actually saying that. You see, you can type like speak stuff in. What did he just not say dealing with Texas? Did anybody catch it? Because he said it.
Yeah, the law.
But what did he say specifically there? What was the term that he just gave? It was like good. Blue law. Get home. I'm just looking at it just briefly and I'm like, wow, just get home, read that one, man. I'm just looking at that's what you said. I'm trying.
There's a bunch of blue laws in there.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yes.
And then they changed it in 1984. That's when y'all find out. Ooh-wee.
Yeah.
Yes,
yes, sir.
So what about if you're required to work? Like from your job?
Oh, like, I'm not gonna lie, I had to go to work today. I mean, yes. Right, yes. You're in the land of, yes.
And you still like, you take care of your family.
Yeah, you gotta take care.
To not take care of your family is, that's I'd say that's worse than worse than anything. Because you'll see that there are times where some Israelites actually work on the Shabbat. But nevertheless, it's still commanded for us not to do it. So if you can, don't do it. But if you
Whenever
have to, it is what it is.
Whenever I've gone for an interview, I let them know straight off the bat.
Straight up.
And I let them know, and if it's, some of the occupations or jobs I've held, they said, okay, we understand, we respect it. Others like, hey, we gotta, this is what we do, so like I either have the choice to say, well, thank you, I'll move on, or okay, yes, I need the job, I need to work. Yes, what you got?
gotta know the Texas law is there's the Texas it's like a Texas Constitution that for religious purposes and stuff like that.
Excuse me.
So it's in the bylaws because it's a Bible Belt state, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
so if you say, hey, this is what I believe in and this is my day of worship, they can't infringe upon that according to the state law. They can't infringe upon that. So now then that's a whole another. You talking about laws, statutes, and commandments? That's statutes and commandments, law, statutes, and commandments for this land here, Texas. So.
Didn't know that. Well, not that company.
But they have some loopholes of how they can do it because it's an at-will state.
It's an at-will state.
So what they do is that when you get the job, unless you say ahead of time that this is what I will not do, if you're on the job already and then you change it, then now you have a little bit of a battle because
because they can say, hey.
Yeah, because they can say,
They don't have to give you a reason either.
Right, they can say, well, then we're just gonna let you go.
Right.
And if you know it's because you won't work the Sabbath or because you refuse to work the Sabbath, then you can kind of like battle that. But it's also with schools because the children, because the state of Texas, like I said, it's the Bible Belt, so the state of Texas, like for our feast days, they can't count the children absent. They can't take that against them. If it's a state school, they cannot count those days against the children because any holy day, and it's not just our religion or whatever, or our belief. It's any, the Muslims, anything. If they say, no, this is my high holy day, then they have to give them a time to make it up.
Yeah.
They can't just give them a 0. Now that is still protected, and that even goes up to college as well. So it is true. But I had to look that up when we were doing the for Sukkot and stuff like that some years back to see what the law was, and it just so happened that here in the state of Texas, they didn't have it in Colorado, but here in Texas they had it, and so they had to let the children be off and make up those days if they needed to.
Something else that I noticed about this this commandment here, don't pay attention to my 20 and 7 over there. My proofreader didn't help me out.
Yeah, no.
If you notice out of these 10 commandments,
It's about the meat, it's about
this
the
is
chicken.
about the meat. I hear you. This is about this meat right here. For me, because that was my first question to one of the pastors. I asked him, why are we worshiping on Sunday when I read the 10 commandments? He says this. And it took an army chaplain to tell me, hey, in that part we got it wrong. But all the other pastors I had talked to kind of gave me that number. But to me, the emphasis on this, because if you look at the 10 commandments, this is 4 verses. Look at your other 10 commandments that we've gone over. This is the longest one out of those 10. He went into detail to say, hey, I mean, that to me just stood out. That it took that much to say to get his point across. He gave you reasons why. He said what he did. And he said what he did after he created everything. You know? So he took the time to say, hey, this is important. And that one's always stuck with me, and that's what started me on my path away from, you know.
And it covers everybody. If you notice, like you said, the detail, your animals, your servants, and they don't have to be Israelites. Like that doesn't even have to be, because an animal is not an Israelite. You can have somebody who is a servant, your maidservant. Maybe she's an Egyptian, but it still even covers her because she's part of the house. So he's telling you all of these, everybody.
So you said it doesn't just cover Israelites, it covers everybody. Because I know for a fact that there's people out there that say, well, these laws were written for, I'm a Gentile, so therefore these laws were written for Israelites. I've heard it come out of people's mouths. But you're saying this is for everybody.
If you say that you, going back to the commandment we just looked at, if you love the Most High, you say that you love the Creator of heaven and earth, then you should be falling in the house. Therefore, you should be keeping the commandments no matter whether you're a Jew or a Gentile. The New Testament tells you that it's for free or bond, male or female, Jew or Gentile.
Thank you very much. All right. You all, that was the end. That's where I was going to take my break. You all know before I go into the second part of the last 6 of them. Okay, I want to break it up a little bit. But yeah, if you look at this is something that hit me because I've had even family members tell me that we don't have to worry about the commandments and whatnot. But even in the last book of the Bible, in Spanish it's Apocalypses and Revelations. The future belongs only to those which keep the commandments of Yahuwah and the faith of Yahshua. Here is the endurance of the set apart ones. Here are those guarding the commands of Elohim and the belief of Yahshua. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
That's it. You got a transition?
To be continued.
Yep.